$5 billion industry almost didn't exist because it wasn't manly enough. Since baseball's inception in the early 1800s, it was common to leave a game with bruised knuckles and maybe even some broken fingers. In fact, through the 1870s, it was considered a marvel if a catcher could make it through a full 100-game season. That's because at the time, no one used baseball gloves. Not even catchers or first basemen, who would routinely break their fingers attempting to catch the ball barehanded. Now, the logic for this was twofold. First off, cricket players didn't wear gloves, therefore baseball players shouldn't either. And secondly, since baseball players had gone decades without wearing gloves, starting to wear some padding on your hand wouldn't be considered very manly. Thankfully, however, there were some players willing to spit in the face of toxic masculinity and wear simple leather work gloves on the diamond. The first instance of this was a New Haven first baseman Charles Waite, who in an 1875 game against Boston decided to wear a leather work glove with the fingers cut off to better protect his hand. Waite intentionally wore a tan flesh-colored glove to preserve his masculinity and hope people wouldn't notice. But they did, and the first baseman was ridiculed by both the fans and other players. But one person in particular took notice of the glove, a pitcher on Boston named A.G. Spalding. Yes, that Spalding, who with the help of his brother started making baseball gloves in 1877. At the time, they were just black leather gloves with padding stuffed in the palm and the fingers still cut off. Thankfully, Spalding's reputation helped remove the stigma of wearing a glove, and the development of the baseball mitt exploded from there. It started with extra padding, and then shallow webbing was added between the thumb and the index finger. But in 1895, baseball purists were upset with the addition of gloves and created restrictions on what every position could wear other than catchers and first basemen, who were allowed to wear gloves of any shape, size, or weight. All other fielders, however, couldn't wear gloves heavier than 10 ounces or with a circumference of over 14 inches, a rule that has largely remained the same in MLB today. Now, by 1900, basically every player was wearing a glove, but it wasn't until 1920 that the glove we use today actually starts to take form. That's when St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Bill Doak replaced the leather webbing used in some gloves with a series of straps between the index finger and the thumb. This created a larger, deeper pocket that would make it less painful to catch the ball directly in the palm while also extending a fielder's reach. Doak wisely patented his idea and sold it to Rawlings, who then went on to surpass Spalding as the leading glove manufacturer in the 1930s, and the rest is history. Just imagine how these guys must have felt when they learned about batting helmets.